I think we're just missing the court reporter.
All right, testing audio. Can anyone hear me?
We can. We've got you.
Yay. Okay, here comes the court reporter. Thank you.
Ms. Ravenel, are we waiting for Mr. Ralph, or are you taking things today?
Yes, we are waiting for him. I just sent the
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I just sent the team a message that it should be up now.
Yeah,
Can you hear me, Judge?
we can. We're just
Great.
waiting on one more person, I believe.
Okay.
Yep, there he is.
There he is. Okay, I believe, is that everybody? See there, folks? We waiting on anybody else?
Give me one moment, Judge. Take a canvas here of my.
You know what? We're missing OPC. Let me.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're still getting in some emails. I see one from staff
Okay,
that
Gary's
they're
here.
still having difficulties getting in.
Gary's here and Kenny's here. I know I can say I don't have any questions for staff's witness. Does anybody else have questions for them? If not, we can just excuse her. Okay, I'm seeing a no. Miss McLemore, no questions for staff. Okay. Mr. Alexander, do you have any questions for staff's witness today? Mr. Alexander?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Well, I think we can go ahead and start. Doug, you ready to go?
You're on the record, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. My name is Chuck McLean. I'm the Chief Public Utility Law Judge at the Maryland Public Service Commission. Today is March 26th. It's approximately 10 minutes after 10. We're here in case number 9642 for an evidentiary hearing, and the case is captioned in the matter of the application of Baltimore Gas and Electric Company for a certificate of public convenience and necessity for the Bush River Crossing 115 kV rebuild project in Harford County, Maryland. We can start with appearances. We'll start with the company.
Yes, and good morning, David Ralph on behalf of Baltimore Gas and Electric Company. And I have here with me my colleague, Christia Ravenel, also
Good morning.
representing the company.
Good morning, sir. Ms. McLemore?
Good morning, Sandra McLemore on behalf of the Power Plant Research Program, and I have with me Fred Kelly with PPRP.
Okay, good morning. Mr. Alexander?
I should be on. Okay. Gary L. Alexander for the Maryland Office of People's Counsel.
Good morning, sir, and staff.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kenneth Albert on behalf of staff.
Good morning. First, I want to apologize for the delay. I find that it helps when you actually start the correct meeting. So I was in there with the court reporter, so two of us got it wrong. But I apologize, and it was almost 10 o'clock before I realized that I might not be in the correct meeting. So my apologies, and I appreciate everyone's patience. Mr. Ralph, you want to kick things off?
Yes, thank you.
Or do we have anything preliminary before we get moving?
So I do, Your Honor. I have one
Okay.
preliminary matter.
All right.
And that is, we previously had filed with the commission our certificate of publications for the February 9th public comment hearing.
Yes, sir.
And I would like to enter that into evidence at this time.
All right, we'll mark that as BGE Exhibit 2 for identification. Are there any objections? Hearing none, it's admitted. All right. Anything else, sir?
No, that's all the preliminary matters that I have.
Okay, okay. Why don't you take it away?
So first, I'd like to just give a brief overview of the project that we're doing now. Just 1 second here. So if I could just present a brief opening, Your Honor, I'd appreciate that.
Certainly.
Okay. So the Bush River Crossing 115 kV rebuild project involves the replacement of 1.3 miles of an existing 115 kV transmission line that runs from Edgewood to Perryman across the Bush River in Harford County, Maryland. The project requires the replacement of 4 wood H-frame transmission structures, 2 on each side of the river, and 3 existing steel lattice structures, 1 on each shore and 1 located within Bush River, with 9 self-supporting galvanized steel monopole structures. The rebuild will take place within BGE's existing and proposed right-of-way, which involves new easement agreements with Constellation and the U.S. Army Aberdeen Proving Ground on both sides of the project. BGE has engaged in extensive outreach with elected officials, community groups, customers, and state agency officials. Your Honor, this project will address stability and reliability concerns in several key areas. 1, improving reliability. 2, aging infrastructure, including foundation degradation. 3, avian interactions and contaminations. And 4, sailboat contacts. If the identified contingencies are not implemented, the consequences could lead to customer interruptions. BGE expects the demand for electricity supply in the area to increase, further necessitating the need for the project to reliably meet existing and future demand for electric service. PJM has included this project as part of the PJM Transmission Expansion Plan. Accordingly, this project meets the requirements of Public Utility Article 7207 and COMAR 207904. And we respectfully request the Commission to grant BGE a certificate for public convenience and necessity. At this time, I'd like to call our first witness.
Okay, please do so.
That will be Stephen Hurt.
Okay. Mr. Hurt, does your video work, sir? There you are, sir.
Nope.
Can I get you to raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Can you please state your name and spell it, please, for the record?
My name is Stephen Hurt, H-U-R-T.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ralph?
Sure. Mr. Hurt, you've already given your name. Can you please provide your title and your business address for the record?
I'm a senior advisor for McCormick Taylor in their environmental group, specializing in their energy services side. And our business address is 509 South Exeter Street in Baltimore, Maryland, 21202.
Thank you. Mr. Hurt, do you have before you a document entitled Direct Testimony of Tennille T. Rubin, in this case dated April 17, 2020, consisting of 32 pages and 3 exhibits?
I do, yes.
Okay, Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to mark Ms. Tennille's direct testimony. Well, actually, it's pre-marked as BGE Exhibit 3 for identification purposes.
It's been so marked.
Mr. Hurt, do you also have before you a document dated January 29, 2021, entitled Rebuttal Testimony of Tennille T. Rubin, in this case consisting of 11 pages and 1 exhibit.
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, and this has previously been marked as Company Exhibit 4 for identification purposes.
We'll mark it as 4 for ID.
Mr. Hurt, have you had the opportunity to review Company Exhibits 3 and 4?
Yes, I have.
And do you adopt these testimonies today as your own testimony in this case?
Yes, I do.
And do you have any revisions or corrections to either Exhibits 3 or 4?
No.
If I were to ask you the same questions today that were asked in connection with the prepared testimony Company Exhibits 3 and 4, would your responses today be the same?
Yes.
Your Honor, I respectfully move Company Exhibits 3 and 4 into evidence at this time.
Okay. Any objections to Company 3 and 4 being admitted? Seeing none, they are admitted.
And at this time, I offer Mr. Hurt for cross-examination.
Ms. McLemore?
Your Honor, I have no questions.
Okay. Do we have Mr. Alexander?
No questions, Your Honor.
Staff?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Hurt, got an easy day for you. Enjoy your weekend.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
At this time, the company would call Robert P. May as its next witness.
Good morning, sir. Can I get you to raise your right hand? You swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Can you please state and spell your name, please, for the record?
Sure. My name is Robert May, M-A-Y.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ralph?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. May, can you please give your business address and your title for the record, please?
Sure. I'm Principal Engineer of BGE's Transmission Engineering Design and Standards Unit. My business address is 2900 Lord Baltimore Drive, Windsor Mill, Maryland, 21244.
Thank you. And Mr. May, do you have a document in front of you entitled Direct Testimony of Robert P. May, in this case dated April 17, 2020, consisting of 10 pages?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, if we could mark Mr. May's testimony for identification purposes as Company Exhibit 5.
It'll be so marked.
Mr. May, was Company Exhibit 5 prepared by you or under your direct supervision?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And have you had an opportunity to review Company Exhibit 5?
Yes.
Do you have any revisions, corrections, changes to Company Exhibit 5?
No, I do not.
If I were to ask you the same questions today that were asked in connection with your testimony in Company Exhibit 5, would your testimony be the same?
Yes, it would.
Your Honor, I respectfully move Company Exhibit 5 into evidence at this time.
Any objection to BGE 5? Hearing none, 5 is admitted.
At this time, Mr. May is available for cross-examination.
Ms. McLemore?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Alexander? Can't hear you, sir, but
I know.
Okay.
Have to press the mute button. No, Your Honor.
all right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Albert?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Mr. May, you're getting off easy today, too. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy your weekend.
You too.
Don't go too far.
Yeah.
At this time, the company will call Albert E. Alford to the stand as its next witness.
Good morning, sir. Can I get you to raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Can you please state and spell your name, please, for the record?
Sure. Albert E. Alford, A-L-F-O-R-D. I'm a manager of project management, large project unit for Baltimore Gas and Electric Company. Company address is 2900 Lord Baltimore Drive, Baltimore, Maryland, 21244.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for that, Mr. Alford. Do you have before you a document entitled Direct Testimony of Albert E. Alford, in this case dated April 17, 2020, consisting of 10 pages?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, at this time, we would ask that Mr. Alford's testimony be marked as Company Exhibit 6 for
Your Honor,
identification purposes.
Your Honor, excuse me.
Yes.
I apologize. We're trying to connect to a larger speaker because everybody seems to be speaking kind of low there. And I got disconnected when Mr. Ralph started to introduce this. So could you, if you could go back like about a minute and a half, that would be great, Mr. Ralph.
Sure. Do you need me to swear him in again, Doug?
Yes, if you don't mind.
Not at all. Not at all. We haven't got that far, so it's okay. All right. Mr. Alford, can I get you to raise your right hand again, please? Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. And can you please state and spell your name, please, for the record?
Sure. Name is Albert E. Alford, A-L-F-O-R-D. I'm a manager of project management, large project unit for Baltimore Gas and Electric Company. My business address is 2900 Lord Baltimore Drive, Baltimore, Maryland, 21244. Can you hear me?
Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Yeah, Doug, are you getting all that?
Yes, I am. I'm really sorry to ask people to speak up, but it happens, I guess. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Doug. Yeah, if everybody could just keep their voices up, if you need to yell, go ahead and do that. I appreciate it. Mr. Ralph?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Alford, do you have before you a document entitled Direct Testimony of Albert E. Alford, in this case dated April 17, 2020, consisting of 10 pages?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, if we could have the testimony of Mr. Alford marked as Company Exhibit 6 for identification purposes.
It will be so marked.
Mr. Alford, do you also have before you a document entitled Rebuttal Testimony of Albert E. Alford, in this case dated January 29th, 2021, consisting of 13 pages?
Yes, I do.
And Your Honor, if we could have the rebuttal testimony of Mr. Alford marked as BGE Exhibit 7 for identification purposes.
Will be so marked.
Mr. Alford, were company exhibits 6 and 7 prepared by you or under your direct supervision?
Yes, they were.
And have you had an opportunity to review both company exhibits 6 and 7?
Yes.
Do you have any changes or corrections, additions to either exhibits 6 or 7?
No.
If I were to ask you the same questions today that were asked in connection with company exhibits, your testimony in company exhibits 6 or 7, would your testimony be the same?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, I respectfully move company exhibits 6 and 7 into evidence.
Any objection to BGE 6 and 7? Hearing none, they're admitted.
And Mr. Alford is now available for cross-examination.
Thank you, sir. Ms. McLemore.
No, Your Honor, I have no cross.
Okay. Mr. Alexander.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Albert.
No questions.
All right. Good morning, sir. How are you? Mr. Alford?
Yes, fine, thank you.
Okay. I had just a couple questions related to the estimates. Mr. Kelly in his SIR rebuttal had recommended that BGE specify in future cases about a project's cost estimate that the exclusions be addressed early in the process. Do you recall that, sir?
Yes, I do recall that.
Is that something that the company is amendable to, sir?
Oh, absolutely. That is something we're looking into right now, and we're looking to, further improve some of our internal estimating processes, include that in CPC applications moving forward.
Yeah, I found the chart you included in your rebuttal to be a good visual in terms of the estimates. But it seems like the initial $10.5 million estimate, there were obviously a significant amount of costs that were not included in that initial estimate. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. But were those, the indirect costs and the other costs that were not included for any of the estimates, are those known? Were those costs known when your direct was filed, sir?
At that point in time, when we were actually preparing the estimates for filing in the ERD documents, they were based on our alternatives analysis that are only looking at the direct costs, that are the material, the direct engineering, the materials, and the construction costs specifically at that point in time. We did not take those costs, all the alternative costs, and calculate related indirect costs, because they can vary depending on the complexity of each individual, alternative. So we did not take that extra step, sir.
Right. And my guess is it's not just easy as running, a few numbers. It's probably a lot more complex than that, sir.
Yes, it is. In addition to that, it needs to be put into BGE's, financial system to actually calculate that indirect cost based on an estimated service date as well.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I just have one more quick question. In your rebuttal at page 10, you had talked about the jump from 10.5 million to 17.4 million, I believe. And that was outside of the plus 50% range. I believe it was 65% was the jump, and you still found that to be reasonable. And I was just curious as to the reasonableness of that figure, given it was outside of the negative 30 to positive 50% range, sir.
Yeah. Based on some interaction with the project team, we did feel that was reasonable based on the swings of the alternatives that were being evaluated at the time, and the uncertainties that we discovered during the further refinement of the engineering process, especially with related to the environmental mitigations and access constructability concerns that we were going to have to implement during the construction.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
And
finally, I'm sorry.
They were not known at the time we were putting together, at that initial alternatives level, that level of detail.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. And finally, I believe in your rebuttal that you had indicated that there was a meeting scheduled for March 11th, 2021 with the Edgewood Community Advisory Board. Just wondering if that occurred, and if so, what kind of feedback the company got, if any.
Yes, that one did occur, and there was really no feedback or opposition to the project.
Okay, and have you received any input from the county? I'm just curious. I'm sure they're probably on board with whatever's going to increase the reliability.
We've had a lot of outreach throughout the life cycle of the project, and that's been with all the as stated in the testimony. the regulatory folks in Harford County, the elected officials in Harford County, and in addition to that, local, residents. And in this specific area, there's not a lot in that immediate vicinity. In addition to that, we've been working exclusively with Harford County Department of Public Works because of the forced sewage main that crosses in parallel with our lines, and also with Amtrak.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I think that's all I have. Mr. Ralph, do you have any questions based on mine, sir?
No, I do not, Mr. Alford. I think addressed your questions.
All right. Thank you. Ms. McLemore?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Alexander?
First this time. No, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Albert?
No questions.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Alford.
Thank you.
Your Honor, that will be company's case.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ralph. Ms. McLemore?
Yes, Your Honor. If you are amenable and the other parties do not have any objections, I would like to ask if I could go ahead and mark all of PPRP's exhibits at the same time and enter them into the record just for expediency's sake.
Does anyone have a concern about that? Objection? Nope. All right. How about Ms. McLemore?
Thank you, Your Honor. For PPRP Exhibit 1, we have the direct testimony of Frederick E. Kelly, which was filed on December 13th, 2020. If I could have that marked as PPRP Exhibit 1.
It'll be so marked.
And we have the secretarial letter, which was also dated December the 15th, 2020. If I could have that marked as PPRP Exhibit 2.
It'll be so marked.
And the third document is the initial recommended licensing conditions, which is also dated December the 15th, 2020. If I could have that marked as PPRP Exhibit 3.
It'll be so marked.
The fourth document is the project assessment report for the proposed Bush River crossing, filed also December 15th, 2020. If I could have that marked as PPR Exhibit 4.
It will be so marked.
The fifth document is attachment A to the PPRP project assessment report, which is the applicant's responses to selected PPRP data request referenced by PPRP in its documents, which is also filed on December the 15th, 2020.
It will be so marked.
And for the surrebuttal testimony of Frederick S. Kelly, filed February the 23rd, 2021. If I could have that marked as PPRP Exhibit 6.
It will be so marked.
Also, the supplemental testimony of Frederick S. Kelly, which was filed on March 25th, 2021. If I could have that marked as PPRP Exhibit 7.
It will be so marked.
The attachment A to the supplemental testimony, which is entitled the BGE Figure 100-Foot Buffer Vegetation Management Plan, which was also filed March 25th, 2021. If I could have that marked as PPRP Exhibit 8.
It will be so marked.
And then the revised recommended licensing conditions, the red line version, which is dated March the 25th, 2021, which was filed March 25th, 2021. If I could have that marked as PPRP Exhibit 9.
It will be so marked.
And then the final document is the revised recommended licensing conditions, the clean version, which is also dated March 25th, 2021, and which was also filed March 25th, 2021. If I could have that marked as PPRP Exhibit 10.
It will be so marked.
And at this time, if there are no objections, I'd like to go ahead and enter all of these exhibits into the record. If you need me to do it through my witness, Fred Kelly, I am able to do that as well.
He's here. Do we have any objections to the admission of 1 through 10 for PPRP?
No, Your Honor.
All right. 1 through 10 are admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. And at this time, we have one witness, which is Mr. Fred Kelly.
Okay. Mr. Kelly, could I get you to raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Can you please state and spell your name, please, for the record?
Frederick S. Kelly, Frederick S. Kelly, Kelley.
Thank you very much, sir. Ms. McLemore?
Yes, Your Honor. As we filed his supplemental testimony yesterday, I have no further questions at this time. I would tender the witness for questioning.
Okay, thank you. And I do appreciate PPRPs and BGEs working together on that particular issue. Mr. Ralph, do you have any questions?
I do not, in light of what's been proffered by Ms. McLemore regarding our conversation. So no, I have no questions for this witness.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Alexander?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Albert?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Kelly, I just have some questions, and they're more clarifications than anything about the new condition 11E. What kind of oversight will PPRP have over BG's compliance with that?
I don't think we have anything stated in there, but we may circle back with BGE as we have done in other projects and ask to see how things look. Sorry, was that somebody else speaking? We may, as in other cases, we've often revisited transmission line corridors to see how they're doing, not necessarily as compliance, but just to get more information as to the intent of, or how we frame the condition and what is actually in effect. It informs us as to other transmission line cases going forward. But our intent here with 11E was to try to keep the integrity of the critical area and that habitat protection area to the best extent possible.
Understood, sir. Thank you. And just for definitions, grubbing, is that like clear cutting or?
Grubbing is following the clear cutting. It's trying to smooth out the landscape and dealing with the stumps that are left behind so that you have a smoother land surface. Given that the transmission line tower is in its own position, there is no real need to disturb the ground, and you want those root systems to remain in place to stabilize the ground in the area.
Understood, sir. And a degradable biolog, is that just kind of like a manufactured log to divert water? Is that?
It's a sediment erosion control mechanism that's put in place. It impedes water flow, sheet flow, and then over time it degrades and it's biodegradable. So it's no harm to the environment.
Okay. That's all I had. Just kind of figured I had you up here. I might as well ask the question. So just for my own edification. Ms. McLemore, any questions based on mine, ma'am?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Ralph?
No, I do not have any follow-up questions.
Okay. Everybody already knows what a degradable biolog is. Mr. Alexander?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Albert?
No follow-up, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. McLemore. Is that all you have, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Alexander, do you have anything for us today?
Just good wishes and wishes for everybody to have a good weekend.
Can't get better than that. All right, Mr. Albert.
Yes, Your Honor. Staff does have one witness, Amrweet Dariri. Do we need to have her sworn in? I think we had said that if no one has questions. How do you want to proceed?
If no one has questions, we can just, unless she's got corrections to her testimony, we can just stipulate it and call it a day.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Dariri, I would ask, do you have any revisions to your testimony?
No revisions.
Okay. Given that, Your Honor, staff would ask to mark as staff exhibit number 1, the December 15th, 2020 direct testimony of staff witness Amrweet Dariri.
All right, we'll mark that as staff 1 for identification.
And we would ask to mark for identification as staff exhibit number 2, Mr. Reary's surrebuttal testimony filed February 23rd, 2021.
All right, that'll be staff 2 for identification, and as all the parties have indicated, they do not object to the entry of those exhibits. They are entered as staff 1 and 2.
That's all staff has for the record, Your Honor.
Excellent, thank you. And Mr. Ralph, do you have any questions for staff's witness?
I do not.
Ms. McLemore?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Alexander?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, sir. And I have no questions either. We have anything else before you guys start your weekend? No, you're probably not going to start this quickly, but all right. All right, hearing none. Thank you very much for everyone's cooperation with this case and your patience, especially with this morning with my error. So I apologize for that, and enjoy your weekend, and I'll get an order out as quickly as I can. All right, we're off the record, Bob.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We're off the
Thank you.
record, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.